Imagine you move from a place where you lived all your life. Imagine you move and you leave all your children and wife. Starting all over again, but no one you know is around. Well, they didn't have to imagine. They built it up from the ground. How does it sound? Not easy cause it isn't. Could have faced them, but it didn't. But the red bond, that's a winner. And they ran straight to the finish. You get to know them up close and personal. Wait, just give me a minute. Welcome to the front row. Can I get a drum roll? Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the bar, but still the best of all. We are intentional.
Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants podcast and channel. In this series, we will be exploring other post-secondary institutions in Canada. Hopefully, you're able to find a program of interest at Keano College. But if Keano does not offer what you really want, then here are some other options that are available to you. Today, we'll be speaking with Kelvin Yu. He is the manager of international recruitment at Red Deer Polytechnic institution. But before Kelvin comes to us, if you haven't already done so, I am going to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to the Intentional Immigrants podcast and channel. The podcast can be found on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, and Podbean. The channel, the YouTube channel, is available, of course, on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Kelvin Yu is the manager of international recruitment, and he is going to tell us why, as international students, Red Deer Polytechnic is another institution that we can explore and see if they offer the programs that we are interested in. Let's listen as we explore Red Deer Polytechnic with Kelvin. Hi, Kelvin. Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants podcast. I'm happy that you're able to join me here today, and we'll be talking about all things Red Deer Polytechnic.
Thank you so much, Yolanda, for having me. And I'd love to talk a little more about Red Deer Polytechnic.
Okay. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you work.
Yeah, for sure.
And to us.
Definitely. Yeah. So my name is Kelvin Yu. I'm the International Recruitment Manager here at Red Deer Polytechnic, formerly known as Red Deer College. I myself, I've been working post-secondary for over 10 years now, working within student services, student success, recruitment, et cetera, and I've been with Red Deer Polytechnic now since 2020. So been with them just close to 2 years now. And mainly my job is to deal with all aspect of international recruitment, helping international students, any inquiries that they have regarding coming to Red Deer Polytechnic, regarding our programs, et cetera. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So can you summarize for us the programs that Red Deer Polytechnic offers?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So Red Deer Polytechnic, like I mentioned, formerly known as Red Deer College, we just became a polytechnic institutions as of 2021. For the last 57 years, we were a comprehensive community college. So what that means is that we were only allowed to offer programs that are in a certificate, diploma, and trades and apprenticeship sector of programming for students. And because of that, we wanted to kind of provide a larger variety of programs to all of our students across central Alberta and even for the entire province of Alberta and even across Canada. And on top of that, we want to develop more core programs as appropriate for international students as well. So because of that, we wanted to, diversify our ability to provide program that is, in needs for the market and for the students. Because of that, we became a polytechnic. So at Red Deer Polytechnic, we continuously offer the same programming that we had before. So we offer 1-year certificate programs, 2-year diploma programs. We offer certain collaborative program with other post-secondary across Alberta. And then, of course, because of us becoming a polytechnic, now we also offer our in-house 4-year bachelor's degree. So we have several new degrees that just started as of last year. So, for example, we have our Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Bachelor of Science in Biological Science. We also just announced that we will be having our new Bachelor of Business Administration degree as well as a Bachelor of Education degree as well that we will have fully in-house from Red Deer Polytechnic as well. We also have several other degrees that's actually quite well known internationally, where we get lots of international students interested in this degree, which is our 4-year Bachelor of, what did they call it? Animation and Visual Effects, as well as a Bachelor of Film and Theater and Live Entertainment Production. So both of these programs are quite well known across Canada, even across the world. Thus, we get quite a bit of international application into this program as well. Now, furthermore, to talk a little bit more about our diploma and certificate program, we also developed several new certificate and diploma programs, strictly to help international students to meet the demand that lots of international students are looking for, such as our new our new business diploma program, as well as our early learning childcare diploma program. And then what's more important, of course, is even our healthcare program, such as our practical nursing program is also very popular with a lot of international students. And because of that, we actually double our capacity for a lot of these programs, as well as dedicate specific spots for international students. So for example, if you look at our nursing program, our practical nursing diploma program, you know, we double the capacity for that program. And on top of that, dedicate 20% of the seats for international students strictly. So we definitely see there's a need for that as well.
Okay, okay. So those are some programs that are specifically geared for, well, I don't want to say are specifically geared, but you are trying to get more of an international intake for these.
Yeah, well, so basically what it is that we have international students already here for a lot of those programs. However, not as many as we wanted, mainly because of capacity. So because we know that there is a high demand for certain, like many of these programs. So for example, like I mentioned before, the business, the early learning childcare, the nursing, as well as even our legal assistant program as well. So because of that, we double the capacity to take in more students. So typically in the past, we only accept students once a year for many of those programs. Now we actually doubled it to we also accept students in the winter term as well. So we accept nursing students in September, and then we also accept nursing students in January intake as well. Same with the legal assistant program, same with the early learning childcare program as well.
Okay, so I know from experience that some of these programs have a competitive entry. For example, we usually have a competitive entry. Is that so for RDP?
Yeah, for sure. So our nursing, pretty much a majority of our health science programs. So our practical nursing program, pharmacy tech program, our laboratory assistant program, those programs are all competitive entry. However, the nursing program specifically, we dedicate 20% of the spots or the capacity to our international students applicant. So what that means is that students that are international will have a better chance of getting into the practical nursing program here at Red Deer Polytechnic versus other post-secondary institutions across Alberta, where they might be, you know, kind of put up against other, you know, domestic Canadian students to get a spot.
Okay, okay, cool. All right, so those are the programs by and large that you offer. What about tuition fees?
Definitely.
What does your fee? So I am an international student.
Yeah.
What do I expect to pay out of pocket per semester?
For sure. So, you know, to be very honest, and I'm just going to be, you know, very open with you and explain, you know, our goal for our programming and our cost for the program, we really look at, what makes our institution competitive and to be very affordable as well for international students. So because of that, many of our programs is a little bit below the province average. So for example, if you look at our business program, for example, the first year will cost a student just a bit under $16,000 for 1 year. Yeah, exactly. If they take something as simple as let's say the kinesiology and sports studies diploma program, that is only around $14,000 a year as well. So again, the tuition is very, very competitive with other institutions, and some even below what is other institutions just charging international students. And we like to keep it like that. We want to keep it as competitive as possible and as affordable as possible for international students.
Okay. All right. Thank you. In terms of books, the books are not included in the fees, right?
No, so the cost that you see on our website, so for example, when you go to our rdpolytech.ca website under international students, there is a page that's called International Student Program, or what you can study, for example, that's what Lily said, and it'll show you the cost, like an estimated program cost, and that is only tuition only. It does not include any kind of extra fees. It does not include like insurance. It does not include your books.
Right. As you were saying, it doesn't include any extra, it's just tuition, no extra student fees or anything like that.
Exactly. So all the cost specifically to the tuition is kind of estimated on the website, and then books, fees, insurance, things like that is kind of extra on top of that. In regards to the amount, we usually tell students is like it really depending on the program. So for the books wise, if you're in like a business program, it will be very different from, let's say, if you're in the nursing program. So it ranges, but anecdotally, like from what we see at the bookstore and other students, it ranges from $400 or $500 up to over like $1,500 is possible as well.
Okay. Are there any scholarships available to international students?
So at Red Deer Polytech, unfortunately, we don't offer any entrance scholarship. Typically, what we notice, a lot of international students are asking about entrance scholarship. However, we do have an internal scholarship application where it gives you a one-stop shop, which is a one application you submitted, and then our financial aid officer will kind of assign if there is any that you qualify for to your account. However, that typically application opens in around March and it goes until like July typically. So for most international students, they typically will apply for their second year. That's usually what we see happen for international students.
Okay, cool. What's the application process? So students and I want to apply. How do I do that?
Yeah, for sure. So our application is actually in-house within our website. So when you go to www.rdpolytech.ca, and then you're going to see a tab that says international students, you click there, automatically you're going to see there's a tab that says on international online application. You click on that and you create an account, and then you fill all the information that you need to fill. And then you submit the application, and then the application has a cost. There's a fee to the application, which is $150 application fee for the students. And then once you submit the application, then it is the student's responsibility to submit all required documentations that's required for us to assess their eligibility to get into the program. So for example, when a student submit an application and pay the application fee, typically they will submit like a English language proficiency requirement or score, either that's IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, PTE, etc., etc. And then as well as providing a scanned version of the transcript, as well as any necessary documentation that is from their education back home to help us assess their application to see if they're eligible for the program they're applying for. Typically, the turnaround time for assessment once all documents is received is around 7 to 10 business days.
7 to 10 business days? Oh, okay. That's good. That's a good turnaround time.
Yeah, we typically hope to aim 7 to 10 business day. But sometimes, again, this is something that's really important for all international students to know is we need you to submit all the documentation immediately. You know, you can submit application, but you don't submit all the required documentation. We're not going to be starting to assess your application until we receive everything. So that's really important.
Do you have application deadlines? So for fall, what's your application deadline? And for winter, what's your application deadline?
Yeah, for sure. So application deadline for fall right now is May 1st. And then our winter application actually does not open until April 1st.
If I want to apply for winter 2023, I need to apply by April 1st?
No. So April 1st is when the application open.
Opens. Okay.
Yes, it opens on April 1st, and I believe it closes on October 31st.
October 31st. That's for winter.
Yes, that's for winter.
And for fall, it opens on May 1st.
For fall, it opens on October 1st of each year, and it closes on May 1st.
Okay, so October 1st for fall, it opens, and it on May 1st.
Exactly.
Of the academic year for fall. So
exactly.
Yep. For 2023, you have starting October 1st, 2022, on May 1st, 2023, to apply for fall.
Exactly, you got it.
Just want to make sure I get it right.
Yep, okay. No problem.
All right, so those are our application deadlines. All right, so what makes RDP or Red Deer Polytechnic unique? Why would I, as an international student, want to attend RDP?
Yeah, so definitely, there's several reasons why international students come here to Red Deer Polytechnic. And to be pretty honest, is if you're gonna let me as much time as possible to talk about it, I can talk all day about all the different reasons. But for for the time constraint, I'm gonna talk several of the top reasons. So first, the reason that international students come to Red Deer Polytechnic is the affordability. So if you look at our tuitions, if you look at our housing costs, and you look at overall just the living costs in Red Deer, is very, very affordable compared to other major cities across Alberta or even across Canada. You can literally live right on campus for as low as $540 a month, directly on campus in our residence. Our residence is probably one of the most affordable across the province. And then you look at living costs overall. If you look at the statistic Canada based on average cost of living within the city, Red Deer is one of the highest or most affordable city to live in Alberta as well. So that's another reason. Second is accessibility. Since we're so centralized, we're exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes south of Edmonton, 1 hour and 20 minutes north of Calgary. There's lots of accessibility for students to really travel wherever they need to go for the next step after they've done school here. If they want to go to Calgary, quick and easy. Edmonton, etc., etc. However, we're in the central Alberta where we have the opportunity for students to go work in a lot of areas that typically is harder for students to get a job, which is, let's say, Banff and Jasper, because we're so centralized. Student has the opportunity to go to either Banff or Jasper if they want to go visit as the tourist opportunity, but more so work opportunity as well. Versus if you have international students that's in Edmonton, it's kind of tough for them to go to work in Banff. Vice versa, if you have a student coming from Calgary and they want to work in Jasper, that's typically not really a possibility either. But because we're right in the middle, that opens up the opportunity to have job opportunity in both of these high tourist area that employs lots of international students. That's another reason why lots of international students like to choose Red Deer. And secondly, I really want to go back to is next step for international students, which is opportunities. It is really important for international students to, we understand it is very, very expensive to come to Canada for schooling overall compared to most other post-secondary back home, for example. And for some students, that is interested in working, they're allowed to work in Canada because they qualify for something called postgraduate work permit after they finish a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 year program here at Red Deer Polytechnic, because we are a designated learning institution here in Canada. And because of that, our majority of our program qualify for a postgraduate work permit. And that's what I mean by opportunity. It allows students to work if they wanted to after they finish program. And that's why we have a 92% employment rate. 92% of our graduates find employment within 6 months of graduation. And that is what we're really proud of, and we really like to kind of explain to a lot of international students, is that if you come here, opportunity is just a step away for you. And it's this, and where you can go is, it's undetermined. You can really do whatever you like as long as you want to go move forward with it. And the best part is a great entry point to Canada, the affordability. And if you look at a lot of our international students, compared to other students that went to other institutions, the cost of living, the cost of food, the cost of everything. Yes, everyone is saying everything is getting more and more expensive, but in Red Deer is still quite affordable for a lot of students, especially young family that's coming over as well with their, international students that's coming to Canada with their family. It is very, very affordable for them as a starting point in Canada, or even if they want to stay in Red Deer forever, if they wanted to, it's a great place as well.
All right, thank you. Are there any tips you want to leave with our international students and or immigrants?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the most important tips that I'll provide for any international student that's interested in coming to Canada or coming to Red Deer Polytech is one, submit your application early. That's probably the most important tips for most international students, I would say, because as an international student, everything takes longer than a domestic Canadian student. So for example, when you apply to a post-secondary institution here in Canada, it takes a little bit more time for us to get all the documents from you. And then it takes a little bit of time for us to assess. And if you're coming from a country that your documents is not in English, make sure you get everything translated by IQOS ahead of time, then submit those applications. Again, it just takes longer. So submit an application as early as you can, because the hardest part and the most time-consuming part is once you receive your acceptance from a Canadian post-secondary, then you have to move forward and applying for your Canadian study permit. And that takes a long time. According to RCC, especially due to the pandemic that's happening, is really dragging out the process time for a lot of international students that's coming here for their education. So because of that, what we see a lot of students happening is that they apply a bit too late, and then they don't receive the study permit on time, and then unfortunately then they cannot start, and then they have to defer, and then it's just a whole bunch of other items that they have to deal with, all due to because they don't apply early enough. So again, I would say that's the most important tip, is to apply early and have enough time for everything to be done and prepared effectively as well.
Okay, all right. Kelvin, thank you very much for taking us through RDP and the processes that we need to be aware of. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I just want to say last thing, if there's any more questions at all or have any questions regarding Red Deer Polytechnic, just go to www.rdpolytech.ca, or if you want to contact us, you can contact us at internationals@rdpolytech.ca. Thank you so much again for having me today, Yolanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you for tuning in to the Intentional Immigrants podcast and channel. Thank you to the following persons who made today's episode possible. Kelvin Yu, Manager, International Recruitment at Red Deer Polytechnic. Xavier Anderson for providing the music. As always, I'm your host, Yolanda Jack, reminding you, he who watches the wind will not sow. He who watches the clouds will not reap. Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 4. You were born for greatness. Step out into your greatness so that mankind can benefit from you being here. So long, until next time.
Intentional, intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable, it's just that set the bar, but still the best of all. We are intentional.